Yeah, so we say 神农本草经 separate herb with super category, middle category, and inferior category. Super category is 120 herb. Middle category still 120. And the inferior category 125. So that's we say different category and the number of the herbs. We just pick up some of the herbs we discussed together in our class. Certainly we will not cover all of the herbs. We pick up some pretty commonly one and to see what's the difference, like we talking about the herbs today, and what's the difference in 神农本草经. So truly in 神农本草经 maybe talking about little more functions of the herbs also. So the first herb we discuss in super category is we call it 人参, but truly in that time it is 党参. So generally say it's tonify. Yeah, generally say tonify. And last week, we discussed of 黄芪. So 黄芪 herbs we still use right now. Mainly for tonify. Yeah, mainly for tonify. But 黄芪we know we separate 生黄芪, raw 黄芪, or 制黄芪. Means prepared. 制黄芪 is more tonified. 生黄芪 is kind of clear toxins. Yeah. So 黄芪have like two mainly functions. One is mainly tonify, yeah, qi tonify. But truly they can relieve some toxins, like relieve some pus and treat some sores. And also help the muscles healing, like treat abscess, yeah, or swollen. So that's basically, and certainly we have another functions, mainly is tonify. Still pretty similar, like we use 黄芪 right now. Yeah, right now we still use these two different kind, big category, and we have 生黄芪, 制黄芪. Truly in 神农本草经 year, they didn't separate. Right now we separate 生黄芪, 制黄芪. Is right now we separate. But in 神农本草经 time, they including two different kind of function already. Yeah. Then we talking about the 白术. We say 白术 in that time, we not separate. Right now, one we call 白术. 白 means white color. And another one we call 苍术. 苍 means dark color. It's not truly black color, but truly dark compared with 白术. So if we're looking for 苍术, the symbol, it's kind of a dark yellow color. But 白术is still a little bit yellow, but bright yellow and white. So go back to 神农本草经 time. people didn't separate 白术 and 苍术. Both call 白术. Yeah, both call 白术. So the functions like put together also. So dumbness. And also can treat like muscles problems. Jaundice still combination heat with dumbness. And also we say the herbs in this category always have tonified functions. Thus they say prolonged life, make the body light. So that's basically. So by Zhu right now we know mainly go to spleen. So tonified spleen functions and certainly spleen qi stronger. Thus TNT working will relieve dampness and will benefit muscles and tonify spleen qi, and the patient feel more energy levels in there. So that's basically pretty similar, still pretty similar like today we're talking about. Then another herbs we're talking about 甘草. 甘草 still separate 生甘草 or 炙甘草. Usually 生甘草 will not specially say 生甘草. 生 just means raw herb. If they didn't say that must be 生甘草, and truly we have 炙甘草. 炙甘草 is prepared by honey. So if you taste it, it's sweeter. It's more sweeter. Yeah, it's more sweeter for 炙甘草. 甘草 itself, 甘 here is difference with 干姜we talking about later. So this 甘 is sweet. Sweet kind of grass, certainly its flavor is sweet. And the 炙甘草 we say it's prepared by honey, even more sweet. And the 炙甘草, after prepared is much darker. And the 生甘草 is a little bit yellow color in inside part. The outside part is a little bit brown color cover for the pale part. So that's you are immediately know that's 炙甘草 or 生甘草. So that's still mainly tonify function. So we say still pretty similar like 黄芪. We say 炙甘草 is more tonified. Thus they say tonify all 5 zang and 6 fu organs. That's the same meaning. And treat zang fu organs disorder, any kind of conditions. And 生甘草. Right now we say still mainly clear the toxins. But in 神农本草 time, they are not truly separate 生甘草 and 炙甘草. So that's still put 2 herbs functions together. But right now we truly separate 生甘草, more clear toxins, and 炙甘草 is more tonified. In 神农本草 time, they didn't especially talking about 甘草 harmonized other herbs, but it truly can relieve some toxins. That's why later on in the formula, we put 甘草 harmonized other herbs together. in 神农本草 time, they use other herbs like 大枣 to harmonize the formula. Then last week we also talking about a herb 山药. 山药 another name 属鱼. So if a patient talking about 属鱼, that means 山药. So 山药 basically go to the spleen and the kidney. Yeah, both middle jaw and the lower jaw. Certainly we have a lot of formula with 山药 inside. Like we treat middle jaw problems, we put 山药 there. We treat the lower jaw problem, we still put 山药 there. That's basically tonify functions. And also 山药 we say is pretty safety to use. That's the food. Yeah. We can directly eat it like a food, cook it and eat it. But that must be 发型one. The dry one you still can eat it, but pretty hard. You're hard to directly eat it. If you make it powder, you're still good to eat it. And so basically function here pretty similar, like we talking about 山药 right now. But they put some special function here, sharpen the ear and the eyes. That look like we are not specially talking about 山药, good for orifice, but mainly still through the middle jaw, nutrition absorptions, and then send the nutrition to the orifice. Then last week we discussed about 地黄. 地黄 still have 生地黄 and 熟地黄. 熟 means cooked. Cook still kind of prepare. Yeah. But we are not truly prepared with honey. 地黄 itself is sweet already. And 地黄 pretty sticky kind of herbs. And honey sticky also. So basically we prepared 地黄, we just cook it. Yeah. After cook it, we call 熟地黄. That's why we didn't use the 汁, but still prepare. And 生地黄, the functions more cooling. Yeah, more cooling. 熟地黄 functions more tonified. But still, in 神农本草经's time, they didn't like truly separate 生地黄 and 熟地黄. So that's why they put like both functions together. But truly right now we separate. So that's about 地黄. Then 茯苓 last time we talking about. Yeah, 茯苓is another pretty common used herbs. Can treat a lot of conditions. Still mainly middle jaw, but truly they can treat also upper jaw and lower jaw problems. With the help the qi flowing and treat the painful below the heart. That's something in the middle jaw. And also we say 茯苓promote urinations. Thus, right now, we use pretty commonly. We have 五苓散, we have 猪苓汤, promote urination, relieve extra water inside through the urinations. So that's 茯苓, yeah, that's 茯苓. And the 茯苓, we say, also belong to food. So if you go to China, especially go to Beijing, the capital city of China, thus you can find a special kind of food they call 茯苓饼. Bing, just like a pie, yeah. But the Chinese pie is different with the pie here. The pie here put a kind of flour on the base and put some vegetable or meat on the superficial layer. That's what we call pie here. But the Chinese pie, they always put like a flour around the cover here and then put something in the center. So 茯苓饼出来 put 茯苓in the center. I think they have different style. 出来 they put some, they use some 茯苓, sometimes make with some flour, make the cover also, and put some others in the center. But whatever, they use 茯苓inside. So that means it's pretty safety to use. Yeah, pretty safety to use. And have a lot of functions, nourishing function. In Shen Nong本草time, they talk about the nourishing spirit. So still, right now we separate with two herbs. One is 茯苓, one is 茯神. Calming spirit functions, mainly coming from 茯神. But in Shen Nong本草time, they put all the function together. They coming from the same fingers, but just different part. Center part have some wood in the center. That's called 茯神. Outside part, without wood part, we call 茯苓. But truly coming from the same plants. Then we talking about 枸杞子. Yeah. So 枸杞子, right now we say people find more and more benefit from 枸杞子, 枸杞 berry. We say some like people make a special like for pills, for capsules, or maybe even some drink liquids. And then they say it's pretty good for plant life and help build up body energies. It's truly pretty good plants, pretty good plants. So more and more people choose to eat or drink 枸杞子 right now. And truly, that's fluid. Yeah, that's fluid. It's easily to eat. Yeah, easily to eat. Then we talking about the 大枣. Yeah. 大枣, another fluid also. Yeah, another fluid also. So still pretty good to eat. And the 大枣, we say we have different kind of form. Usually we talking about 大枣 is red color. Red color kind of 大枣 is pretty good for the heart. Yeah, red color go to the heart. And truly they have other functions, tonify functions. Yeah, tonify the middle jaw. and balanced middle jiao. So that's pretty good fluid. And in Shen Nong本草 time, truly it talking about it harmonized 100 of the medicine. Right now we're talking about in the formula, we have some herbs to harmonize. Usually we're talking about 甘草. But truly, if you go to the formula, you can find maybe 甘草, 生姜, 大枣 together, they harmonize the formula, harmonize the herbs. So that's truly. And the last herbs in the super category, we talk about 阿胶. That's the only herbs coming from the animal, the skin of the donkey. So that's truly have more tonified functions. Pretty good herbs for gynecology problems. Build up blood. And also calming the finters. Yeah, create the finters means calm the finters. Like a patient have pregnancy and have some symptoms, like the early stage miscarriage, some bleeding or some lower back soreness, and the finters always moving inside, it's not quite there. Then we're thinking about 阿胶. So that's pretty good herbs for tonify. So that's the super category. We pick up some herbs. Then we go to middle category, and then inferior category, we still pick up some herbs. So herbs in the middle category. The first one we pick up is 干姜. This gan is different gan when we talking about 甘草. Even the pronunciation exactly the same. But this gan means dry. Dry herb. Yeah, dry herb. So that's everybody know it's warming herb. Yeah. And they can warming upper jiao and the middle jiao. So that's right now, we still use 干姜 warming internally. Yeah. So 干姜, 生姜, yeah. 生姜 is raw herbs. 生姜 more go to superficial. 干姜 more deeper. So if you go to formulas, you may find the formula treat external condition. Usually, they use 生姜. Yeah, external condition. Like 桂枝汤. Yeah, 桂枝汤. If the herbs treat internally cold, they will use 干姜. So means 干姜 go to deeper, like 四逆汤. Yeah, like 四逆汤. So that's 生姜 go more superficial, and 干姜 more go to deeper. But they are both warm, and both go to upper jiao and middle jiao mainly. So that's why they talking about can treat some diarrhea and even dysentery. means some blood inside. And then they didn't separate ganjiang and shengjiang in that time, but they talk about uncooked. Yeah, it's especially good. That's mainly go to shengjiang. Yeah, mainly go to shengjiang. But truly, right now we separate shengjiang and ganjiang. So that's last week. Yeah, that's last week. So today we go to the next herbs. We're talking about dangui. Dangui. Gui is come back. Dang means should be coming back. So Chinese herbs pretty similar like our Chinese points location. Some herbs, they truly have some meaning. Some herbs look like don't have meaning right now, but I believe in that time they still have meanings. So dangui here truly still have meaning. So should coming back, what should be coming back? Originally, they talking about the periods. So that means they mainly treat menstruation problems, especially people no menstruation, no periods. That means mainly reason blood deficiency. So dangui truly tolify blood and make the periods coming back. So that's originally it meaning in there. So dangui still sweet and warm. In the middle category, we say herbs possible have toxin, possible no toxin. Dangui no toxin. And we say in Shen Nong本草经 dangui truly working by lot of situations. They talking about treat cough. That just means qi reversed and sending qi down. Yeah, sending qi down. And still warm malaria. So basically in that time, like some malaria problems, still thinking about like a relationship with liver and gallbladder, like wound situations. Especially we talk about if patient have malaria, chill and fever athletically. That's Shaoyang syndromes. So dangui go to the wood, then they can harmonize and balance there. So that's why they're talking about treat malaria. And also can treat skin issue. So treat skin issue, basically like skin pretty easily damaged by the wind. Wind still belong to the liver and the gallbladder, like we say internal wind here. And also dangui we say nourishing blood and blood nourishing the skin. Then we say especially infertility. Infertility in the female. So this kind of infertility in the female, basically blood deficiency. And the blood deficiency also can cause some bleeding. So we say deficiency and then not moving. Yeah, blood deficiency can cause the blood stasis. And the blood stasis can cause the bleeding. So we can treat this kind of situation and then bleeding cause the infertility. So root blood deficiency there. And also can treat different kind of source. Still no blood supply and losing nutrition. So that's we say 当归 and we can take it after cooked. Yes, like some other herbs. We talking about better without cooked, but 当归 truly we can take after cooked. So 当归 truly we can put to the like a soup to eat and get people tonified. 当归 smell pretty strong. Yeah, some people maybe don't like it. Yeah, if you try to use like a food therapy, 当归 is good one, but the smell is pretty strong. Yeah, you use small dosage to try first. But truly it's a pretty good herb for food therapy. Yeah, food therapy. Put to the soup, put some food, vegetable, or even meat inside. Yeah, and then cooking together, drink the soup is pretty benefit for the female. Blood tonify. So 当归 right now, we separate different part of the 当归. So 当归 is kind of root of the plant. They look like this. Yeah. And when we cut 当归, one pieces, one pieces. But truly sometimes we separate 当归 with 3 parts. That's the head part. Head part of 当归 we call 当归头. 头 means head. And the middle part we call the body part. Body part we call 当归体. 体 just means body. And the tail part, ending part, tail part, we call 当归尾. 尾 just means tail. Truly 当归 have both blood tonify and blood moving functions. So body part and the head part of 当归 mainly for tonify. And the tail part of the 当归 mainly for moving. So I got some questions coming from students before. Like, can we use 当归 tonify for people if people have pregnancy? We say blood moving herbs we couldn't use for pregnancy. But if some people, especially blood deficiency, truly 当归 is good herb to tonify. But try to use the head part or the body part for the pregnancy. Try not to use the tail part. Certainly, if you both tonify and moving the blood, you put the whole 当归 inside. They will call 全当归. Like we talking about the 全瓜蒌 means whole 当归. So when you order the herbs, you can ask if they have separate, like a head part or tail part, or they just have the whole 当归 inside. So that's basically for 当归, and they growing in the river and the valleys. That's most herbs. So most herbs coming from maybe mountain, maybe river, or maybe valleys. So herbs originally is growing in the naturally. But right now, truly, some people plant herbs. Compare with the naturally growing herbs. Plant herbs working is not that strong. Then we go to next herb we call 丹参. Yeah, don't confuse with 党参. Without G. Without G. With G is 党参. Without G is 丹参. Yeah, 丹参. So 丹参 is the herbs. We still say mainly moving blood. Yeah, mainly moving blood. But they still have some tonified blood functions. The flavor is bitter, but not truly too bitter. Yeah, and slightly cold herb. And we say 丹参 still not toxic. 丹参 treat problems. In 神农本草 time, they talking about treat heart issue and abdominal issue. So we still use it, especially for heart. Recent years, study and research found 丹参 have very good benefit for the heart, especially can prevent heart attacking because they have functions, moving blood. We know heart attacking kind of problems is the blood stasis. Go to the coronary arteries. That's pretty severe kind of heart issue. But truly, 丹参 can prevent that kind of situations. So that's pretty good. Yeah. Like we found the herbs about 2,000, 3,000 years ago, but it's still working. And also can treat blood stasis in the other part of the bodies, especially like abdominal area, like middle jaws problems, and moving some qi also. So some doctors' idea, so 丹参 itself should be equal to 四物汤. We know 四物汤 is the formula, tonified blood and moving blood. Like 川芎 in 四物汤, it truly moving blood. And the others, 当归, 白芍, they are more tonified blood. 熟地, even 熟地. Yeah. So that's 当归 itself have both tonified blood and moving blood functions. So that's basically, clinically, we say break, Zheng, and Jia. In your internal medicine, you may learn these words. Yeah, abdominal masses. Yeah, abdominal masses. If caused by qi stagnation, we call it Jia. If caused by blood stasis, we call it Zheng. So that means the tension can moving qi, moving blood, relieve qi and blood stasis. So that's tension. And also have tonified functions. It grows in the mountain and the valleys. So right now, we may not necessary to remember where they're coming from, like we don't have a chance to pick up the herbs ourselves. But originally, in ancient time, the doctors need to pick up the herbs by themselves. So that's why in the Shen Nong本草经 book, they talk about where you can find it. Then we go to another herbs. It's coming from the animal. Lu rong. Lu is deer. Yeah. Rong is the whole of the deer. On the hide part, I don't know how to try the deer. It's like a deer. Okay, anyway, but basically in the head part, and that's part of the host here. And when we use Lu Rong, basically need to cut it when the deer, the host just coming, yeah, just coming, not waited pretty old. If waited pretty old, will be very, very hard. So basically the whole of the deer, after you cut it, they will grow up again. Yeah, you can repeat it to pick up the Lu Rong. But because it coming from the animals, it's not that, still not that easily to get it. So basically the price for the Lu Rong right now is a little bit expensive compared the herbs coming from the plant. But in like Asian time, people easily got Lu Rong compared with right now. So Lu Rong is sweet and warm. It's a category right now mainly for yin yang tonified. If you go to yin yang tonified category, you will find the Lu Rong. And the Lu Rong is not that calming. Commonly go to the formula. Usually people separate to use it. So deer in the Asian time is pretty good animal. Yeah, a pretty good animal. And like say, it can live in pretty long. That's truly have benefit for the people. And treat the problems. Still some problems coming from blood and tonified qi. and promote growing of the teeth. So that's we talking about the kidney tonifies. Kidney tonifies. So kidney control the bone, and the teeth belong to kind of terminal part of the bone. Or some people directly call teeth is kind of bone, but it's not truly. And prevent people getting age. Yeah, still same meaning like we talked about before. People can living longer and looks younger. That's truly kidneys functions. Like we talking about the life cycle for female 7 times 7, for male 8 times 8. So what are we talking about here? Mainly we talking about the kidney acids. After time cycle, the kidney will have deficiency. Even after 35, 5 times 7, and for male over 40, the kidney start to get kind of deficiency already. So prevent people getting age, basically some tonify to the kidney. And then they talking about the deer hole treat lot of issues, still kind of skin issues here. And eliminated passenger qi or evil qi, and tonify the blood, and keeping the blood. They keep the blood in the genital area, basically still kidney tonify. We say kidney control the 2 lower orifice. So kidney function strong. 2 lower orifice function will be normal. So that's we say kidney can go to 冲 meridians and tonify the blood. So basically we say 鹿茸, they have function, both qi and blood tonified. It's coming from animals. It's better tonified compared with coming from the plants. So that's another herbs. But look like we are not commonly use 鹿茸 right now. Like right now, we try to protect it for the animals. And also, 鹿茸 not that commonly go to the formula. So look like we are not that commonly used. But truly, it is good herbs. So that's our middle category. Yeah, that's our middle category. We just pick up 鹿茸, 丹参, 当归, 干姜, 4 herbs here. Yeah, 4 herbs in middle category. Just give you some basic idea about the different category, what the herbs look like. Then we go to inferior category. Yeah, inferior category. We say inferior category in 神农本草经. They mainly say it's a toxin kind of herb, and we are not used for long term. It's mainly treat the illness. It's not for the tonify. So some herbs right now, we're still thinking about that more toxic herb. We still not use for long term. So like a 附子, yeah, like a 附子. So 附子 is pungent herb and warming. And right now we still say that's toxic herb. 附子 we put in here is warm herb, but truly is more warm. A little bit hot, yeah. But like some idea, 附子 without 干姜 will not warm. So means 附子 keep its functions, especially warming functions. We must use 干姜 together. Yeah, without 干姜 will not hot. Yeah, will not that hot. So that's 闷雷. So we can treat lot of cold conditions, certainly. So wind cold, yeah, wind cold. 触雷, yeah, 触雷. I think this kind of wind cold is originally patient have internal cold, then catching wind cold. So it's not 触雷附子 directly treat wind cold. So basically like people long-term yang deficiency. Yang deficiency cold inside. And cold inside. Yang including our qi part. So that's patient qi deficiency also. And including wei qi deficiency. Then people easily catching wind cold. So these kind of condition, truly we can use 附子. But if our young people just got EPI wind cold, we are not use 附子. And cough, qi reversed, still caused by cold situations, cold inside, and warming internally. We say 附子闷雷 bring yang go back to the kidney. They warming lower jiao, but truly they also can warming middle jiao also. And blood disorder, breakheadedness. This kind of headedness, like a cold inside, blocking the blood circulation, then cause the mysis, yeah, blood stasis. Like we just talking about 真假 before. Accumulation, Y is 真, Y is 假, cold blocking, and then cause the mysis. And can moving, warming inside, make everything moving. So that's can use. And also patient have cold dampness, painful situation in the knee area and couldn't walk. So basically still, mainly is cold inside, especially kidney yang deficiency kind of cold inside, blocking the channels and blocking the qi, blocking the blood, and make some masses inside, or maybe blocking the channels and caused painful situations. Then people couldn't walking. So that's basically foods still pretty similar right now we used. So foods, we say that's toxic herbs. We know if we cooking, basically the foods we ordered, yeah, is prepared already. They still call 熟附子. Shen foods basically, clinically, were not commonly used. Shen foods, not prepared foods, even more toxic. So basically, if you order foods, mostly they will say 熟附子, yeah, 熟附子, it's prepared already. But we still need prepared again. So when we put it to the formula decoctions, tell the patient cook foods first about 30 minutes before cooking with other herbs. So that's basically can relieve foods toxins. Then we put other herbs cook together. So foods toxins reactions is pretty severe. We must be careful. Yeah, we must be careful. Like some people use too big dosage of foods and cause kind of the first reaction may be just numbness of the tongue, then maybe cause the palpitations. So it's pretty toxic kind of herbs. And also be careful. Usually we talk about the common use dosage for foods, about 10 grams for one formula, basically used for 1 day. I talk about raw herbs here. It's not like the granules. Yeah. But truly, right now, some people, we talking about they are in young school idea. Some TCM doctors, they are in young school idea. They truly use pretty big dosage of foods. And their idea means people life depending on how much yang you have. If people without yang, people will be dead. And even yin deficiency still caused by yang deficiency, kind of yin yang unbalanced. And the foods is the herbs can bring yang go back to its origin, means go back to the kidney. We know kidney have yin and yang. So that's basically yang school idea. So they use foods pretty big dosage, maybe 50, 60, or even 100. Truly, they treat a lot of severe kind of disorder. And also I heard about some side effects coming from big dosage of foods. So clinically be careful. Yeah, clinically be careful. So still common use dosage about 10 grams, and still tell the patient cooking about 30 minutes before other herbs if you use the raw herbs. If you use the granules, certainly they prepared already. You can directly to use it, but still try not too big dosage about foods. And it grows in the mountain and valley. and especially on the cold area of the mountain. Thus make the herbs natural. It must be very warm or hot. Then they can treat cold condition. So that's 附子 we say still toxic herb. Yeah, still toxic herb. When we use still be careful. And another herb we're talking about is 半夏. So 半夏 we say still toxic herb. Still pungent, yeah, still pungent herb. But it's balanced natural. So 半夏 right now we still prepared. We prepared with 生姜 means ginger. We call 姜半夏. So you may can find 姜半夏. And we prepared by another herb we call 明矾. Basically, 明矾is external used herb. We are not go to the formula. But truly, we can prepare 半夏 with 明矾. So that kind of herb we call 法半夏. I don't know how the name coming from 法, but truly they prepared by 明矾. Both these two 半夏 is prepared. Both less toxins after prepared. But truly prepared by 生姜, even less toxins compared with prepared by 明矾. But clinically you can use pretty similar. So 半夏 is the herbs right now we know basically relieve phlegm. So we say hardness below the heart. That's basically still some phlegm blocking there. And also 半夏 treat some cold and heat conditions because it is natural, it's balanced. And also say 半夏 treat swollen and salt in the salt area. I think right now one formula we still use 半夏 treat salt problems. 半夏厚朴汤. So basically treat the condition. People feel something in the salt area, but truly nothing truly in there. So that's we use 半夏厚朴汤, pretty similar like pampered qi. Yeah, pampered qi. So that's we talking about some phlegm kind of conditions. And also we say can treat dizziness and chest distension. These kind of dizziness and chest distension basically still caused by phlegm. And the patient may be cough. That's Qi reversed. And also, we say can treat some intestine disorder, cause some noise in the intestine, still kind of Qi disorder in there. And look like we are not truly use 半夏 stop sweating right now. And they just talking about 半夏 stop sweating. So this part, I'm thinking because in 神农本草经, they just tell us treat what kind of condition. They didn't truly have explanations in there why they treat this kind of condition. So by my thinking, I think that's because 半夏, they can relieve phlegm. That's basically regular some water. So people have water kind of disorder, like water retentions. Then after we regulate the water, then stop sweating. So that's basically, by my thinking, you may have your idea why they can treat stop sweating. But truly in 神农本草经, they talking about it possible treat sweating. So that's about 半夏. So 半夏, we say it is toxin herb, but basically 半夏, we have it, it's prepared already. So if we are not overused, so still about 10 grams a day, or 10 grams for our formula, 10 grams for our formula. The formula used here at China, little bit difference, basically in China, people use one formula for 1 day. One formula for 1 day. We're coming from here, coming from China. Like all the doctors here, they use one formula for 2 days. And they have some explanations. They say still working well, still working well. Maybe the quality, the herbs sending to outside of the China, maybe the quality even better, than you can buy in China. And maybe the people like Chinese, they use the herbs for long term. And maybe they just handle too much herbs, like people smoking, and they smoking more and more, then they go to surgery, whatever they drinking alcohol or maybe smoking, basically will be increase the medication for like the surgery relief pain. So maybe like Chinese people, they always use the herbs, then they can handle more. So that's the difference. But generally, I will follow other doctors here also. So basically, my formula tell the patient use for 2 days also. That means even we use 10 grams for our formula, so basically for 1 day, just 5 grams in there. So pretty safety, pretty safety. If we are not used, including 半夏, including like foods we talked about before. We just follow the common use dosage. even there are toxins, but still safety. But pay attention, if you use some herbs with toxic herbs inside, basically not use too long. We say like you use half month or even 1 month, you need to stop. And then getting some break, then you can use again. Just try not to continually use like some tonified herbs. We can continually use like 3 months, even 6 months, even years. But if your formula have toxic herb inside, remember about half month or 1 month, tell the patient stop use about 10 days or 2 weeks, and then reuse again. So that's about some toxin herbs we still need. Yeah, we still need. Then we go to another herbs. 大黄. So 大黄 is bitter and cold herb and toxin in 神农本草经. Right now, or like idea, toxin idea, little bit difference with 神农本草经's idea. Right now, we say truly can damage the body, and the side effect we call toxin herbs. But in 神农本草经, they talking about some herbs. Maybe we couldn't long-term use. We call that toxin herbs. So that's truly 大黄. We are not long-term can use this 大黄. It's purging herb. It's not like the herb itself causes the toxins, but just long-term use may be damage the body. And 大黄, so basically we use 生大黄, raw herbs. Right now we know 大黄, we say we have 2 mainly functions. One function is purging. Yeah. Purging down clear heat. Like we have 大承气, 小承气, or 调味承气汤. All the purging, relieve, heat. And truly 大黄 have another functions. Moving blood, reducing blood stasis. That's mainly we use for 大黄. So clinical use, if we use raw herbs, if try to clear heat, purging down, remember we use 生大黄 and less time to cooking, or even sometimes not necessary to cooking. Yeah, less cooking time, or even not necessary to cooking. Just adding to the herb decoctions. And truly, if we try to moving blood, that's the 大黄. We need cooking longer. So if we try to moving blood, remove blood stasis, certainly 大黄 purging functions kind of side function for this kind of patient. So if we cooking longer, truly reducing purging function and truly working for producing or moving blood, reducing blood stasis. So in Shen Nong本草经, they say they can treat blood stasis kind of condition and cold heat condition. So cold heat condition here is not truly treat cold heat condition. Means the body losing some kind of balance in there. So that kind of condition, we know truly treat heat condition. Like the needling technique, yeah, like the needling technique. We say we use totify reducing technique, but some special kind of illness, we just use totify. Special kind of illness, we just use reducing. So cold and heat here just means it can treat that kind of situations, not truly treat cold condition. Still treat heat condition. And for food irritations, certainly 大黄 have purging down functions. And if patient have food irritations, then we can think about 大黄. And then the other function here together, I'm not sure the translation is good or not here. Basically, moving blood stasis and treat the blood stasis caused masses, like we talked about 真假 before. Qi blood stagnations and then cause the blood stasis. 真假积聚. In your internal medicine, have you learned 真假积聚 before? Zheng Jia Ji Ju. Yeah, Zheng Jia Ji Ju. So Zheng Jia Ji Ju, both talking about like masses in the stomach, in the abdominal area. And Ji Ju, let it be upper, like a middle jaw area. Zheng Jia, let it be lower, like a lower jaw area. Jia and Ji mainly caused by qi stagnation. Zheng and Ju mainly by blood stasis. So that's talking about 大黄 can treat stomach masses caused by qi and blood stasis here. And flushing the stomach and the intestine. Certainly they have purging functions and relieve something like stagnation in the digestion systems and then recover their functions. So that's the basically in here. And the regular middle jaw help the nutrition and the water flowing and absorptions. So that's regulating the center, means middle jaw. And they say when middle jaw regulated and the nutrition transformed, then 5,000 organs is harmonized. When they harmonize, they will not cause the trouble. That means quiet here. Yeah, just means regular 5,000 organ and then everything harmonizes inside, and now no other illness or troubles. So that's 大黄。大黄 still grows in the mountain and valley. So just remember, 大黄 we still couldn't use too long time. Yeah, they still have, they're working so strong. Yeah, they're working so strong. If using long term, they still cause some damage internally. But truly treat some special kind of condition, 大黄 working very well. Then we go to the next herb. Next herb is 桔梗. Jing is bitter herbs, and they didn't talking about, let it be warming. Yeah, let it be warming. Transmit, we missing, let it be warm here. Yeah, little warm herbs. And no toxins. So we basically, when we use 桔梗, no toxins also. So we say, when we talking about the herbs, in 神农本草经, we separate with the super category, middle category, and the inferior category. Now we are in the inferior category. We say inferior category herbs usually is toxic herbs. Why 桔梗 in here? And certainly we have some other herbs in inferior category, still not toxic also. So still remember when we talking about the functions in different category, we say super category we use for Jing herb or king herb. Middle category herb we use for Shen herb. And the inferior category we use for 左使 herb. So basically, 桔梗 mainly working for 左使 herbs. You can find 桔梗 in lot of formula. They are not used for Jing herb. Yeah, truly we have one formula we call 桔梗汤. That's truly they use for Jing herb. But a lot of other formulas. Yeah, 桔梗汤. Lot of other formulas. They just put 桔梗 like 左使 herb. 桔梗 is the tea lending herb. It lending tea go upward. Basically, we have another herb we call 枳实. Is the herb still tea lending, but basically lending downwards. In lot of formulas, you may have like two herbs together. One is 桔梗, one is 枳实 together. So basically, they make tea circulation internally, yeah, inside the body. Pretty similar, we talk about the middle gel functions, spleen and the stomach. we say spleen T rising up, stomach T go down. So that's the T circulation way, middle jiao. So when people have middle jiao trouble, cause lao-tao other troubles. Middle jiao functions normal. They will relieve lao-tao's other organ struggles. So pretty similar, 桔梗 and 枳实, they working together, circulate inside. And also we can say, bring the formula, go all over, yeah, and make the T circulation. And certainly, if you just try to treat upper jiao problems, if you just try to like T go upward, certainly you can only use 桔梗, especially for lung issues. 桔梗 can open lung, yeah, 桔梗 can open the lung, especially go to the lung. So that kind of situation, you can only use 桔梗. But if you try to moving Qi all over inside the body, you can use 桔梗 pair with 枳实 together. That's truly in some of the formula you can find. So that's why 桔梗 in this category, but truly it is no toxins. But we are not necessarily give too big dosage. So lending herb usually not necessarily big dosage, but they can bring other herbs, go to special kind of directions. So that's 桔梗's working. So we say it mainly treat chest problems. Upper jiao, rib side, painful. So that's basically Qi stagnations. Qi stagnations in the upper jiao and Qi stagnation in the Shaoyang channels. So that's Shaoyang channels passing the part and blocking there, cause painful situations. And they talking about the severe kind of pain in there, like a cut by the knife. Just means the painful is pretty severe. So internal medicine, we can have another words we call chest B. 胸壁 for Chinese words, 胸. Xiong just means chest. B is painful situation. Like we talking about joint pain, yeah. Dan B, Win B, yeah. So severe kind of chest pain, that's we call 胸壁. That's the mentions look like cut by the knife. Yeah. And also can treat middle jiao problems, abdominal fairness. So abdominal fairness, that's basically middle jiao kind of qi stagnation. And also palpitation. these kind of palpitations caused by fear. So still kind of T stagnations and blocking there, and then we moving T relieve that kind of palpitation also. So that's the Jing. Pretty similar we use right now. So Jing is the herb used for the T levels, but it truly some situation, like some blood stasis, we're talking about chest pain kind of situation, can cause by T stagnation, then leading to blood stasis. It's not truly working for blood, but from the moving T, blood will be moving. And they grow in the mountain and the valleys. So that's for Jing. Yeah, that's for Jing. So I didn't pick up too many herbs because we only have 3 classes for 神农本草经. But basically we got some idea here. You can look in the books yourself, like a single herbs, what they mention there and what they meaning there. It should be good.